And I hope you're ready to worship. We're gonna bring it back some years, do some hymns. So why don't you stand, sit, do whatever it is you need to do to worship this morning, this afternoon, this evening. I never did get those things down very well. We sing "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus." You'll notice the theme in tonight's music as we talk about trust. How much do you trust God? 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take Him at His word, just to rest upon His promise, just to know thus saith the Lord. Jesus, 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 how I trust Him, how I proved Him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. We're singing, I'm so glad I learned to trust Thee. I'm so glad I learned to trust Thee. Precious Jesus, Savior, friend, and I know that Thou art with me, will be with me till the end. Jesus, 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 how I trust Him, how I proved Him more and more. Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him, how I proved Him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. For grace to trust Him more. We're only supposed to trust Him in our lives or with our lives. Let's do that tonight. Come every soul by sin oppressed, there's mercy with the Lord, and He will surely give you rest by trusting in His word. Only trust Him. Only trust Him. Only trust Him. Only trust Him now. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now. He's the truth and the way. Yes, Jesus is the truth, the way that leads you into rest. Believe in Him without delay, and you are fully blessed. Only trust Him, and only trust Him, only trust Him. Trust Him now. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now. Only trust Him. Only trust Him. Only trust Him now. He will save you. Save you now. So not only are we supposed to trust in Him and trust in His word, but we are supposed to obey what it says. How foolish of us would it be if we just trusted Him and didn't obey Him? So let's sing about that. When we walk with the Lord in the light do His good will. He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. But we never can prove the delights of His love until all we lay down at the altar. Let's sing that. But we never can prove the delights of His love until all on the altar we lay. For the favor He shows and the joy He bestows are for them who will trust and obey. Let's trust Him tonight. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Then in fellowship sweet, we will sit at His feet one day, amen. Then in fellowship sweet, we will sit at His feet, or we'll walk by His side in the way. What He says we will do. Where He sends we will go. Never fear, only trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. One more time. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. But to trust and obey, we must trust and obey. And the ultimate act of trust is trusting that when we die, we get to go home. We don't leave this home. We get to go to our heavenly home. So let's sing about that. Coming home, never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love, Lord, I'm coming home. I've wandered far away from God, now I'm coming home. The paths of sin too long I've trod, Lord, I'm coming home. Let's come home tonight, church. Coming home, never more to roam. Open wide your arms of love, Lord, I'm coming home. How many years have we wasted here on earth not following Him? Let's change that. I've wasted many precious years, now I'm coming home. talking about, church. One day we're going to get to go home and be with him. And on that day when I die, I'll be coming home. I'll spread my arms and to him I'll fly. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming home, coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. Sing that one more time. Coming home, coming home. Never more to roam. Open wide your arms of love. Lord, I'm coming home. Lord, I'm coming home. Father, I pray that we understand what that means tonight, God, that if we are strayed and we are lost, maybe we've indulged in our own personal sins, we've kind of wandered away from you, I pray that we would come home tonight, come back to your grace, running out to meet us just like you did that prodigal son. And God, I pray that one day, that day, whenever you return or whenever we go home by our death, God, that we would see your face in all its glory, shining with us, or shining on us. So God, I pray that you would help us to understand that. Help us to trust you tonight. I pray that you would speak through Steve, that you would empower his words, God, with your Holy Spirit. All this I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, John. Hey, thanks for coming back tonight. Some of you are trusting in the outcome of a game, but you're here anyway. So I appreciate y'all coming back. How many of y'all really realize how much that you trust in a day? You really thought about how much you trust? I mean, when you got in your vehicle, how many got in a vehicle today? And you checked all 4 tires. Keep your hand out. You checked all 4 tires. What? Oh, so you just trusted they had the right amount of air in them. And then you lifted up the hood and pulled the dipstick. Go ahead. And don't be looking at your spouse. Check for the oil level and the water level. So you trusted that your car was just... You checked the battery, of course, to make sure it was good and not cold and wasn't going to crank. And then you got it and started up right. So you trusted your car. You ever thought about how much you trusted in a given day? How about this? Has anybody ever gone to a restaurant? There's some trust. You don't want to think too deeply about behind the kitchen door, or what happened to the cook today at home, or the waiter or waitress, but you trust. John had that perfect phrase in that song, trust and obey. And I started last week about talking about, let's take a risk. Let's take a risk and engage in tomorrow in a way we've never engaged in because we've never been there. Let's trust that God's got a plan, an amazing plan. In Philippians 4 it says here, God will provide all your needs according to His glorious riches in Christ Jesus. God will provide everything you need. That's trust. That's trust. I trust that you get a good night's sleep tonight. I trust if you don't get a good night's sleep tonight, it's on you. That if you stay up kicking things because your team didn't win, that's on you. Anybody have to work tomorrow or you get MLK off? Couple have to work. Students have to go to school. That's a good thing. Oil field has to oil. Yeah. But for some of us, we're off and we get to kind of lackadaisically lounge around and then head to Lubbock, right? That's what you do. The weather's going to be good. I think the storm has kind of blown through. We've got a little bit of rain that came, and that was a blessing. But there are times that we allow people, I guess to say this, put you in your place instead of proceeding with what Christ has called you to do. And that was the story with Jay. Jay was an amazingly hard young man working in a meat processing plant. Beef and pigs, you know what goes on there. I mean, he would get there early and be put down by this older guy What are you trying to do? Suck up to the boss. He'd work real hard. He'd mentally take his break real quick and be back at the line. And every time he'd do something, he'd get put down, but he trusted. He trusted that God had him there for a purpose. And Jay really, really worked hard. But Jay one day saw that there was a lot of waste going out the back door. There's just a lot of meat going out there. And Jay said, I think if we take some of that meat and put it in with this meat and put it in a container, we can make a product here. And that guy just put him down. You're an idiot. Jay wouldn't let that stop him. He finally got to where he was noticed by the boss. And the bosses he's productive, he's hardworking. They started moving Jay up, and he still said, there's a lot of waste. Let's try this. Let's quit throwing it out the back door, and let's put some good meat with this meat we're throwing away, and let's put it in a container and let's sell it. Anybody get an idea? Hamburger, close. Justin, you want to help out here? Jake Hormel created Spam. Anybody ever in their life ever had a slab of Spam on a piece of bread off the skillet? Crispy, yeah. Poor man's steak. And some people are like, oh, Spam, that's just the most disgusting. Well, you know, and this has a purpose tonight. But Jay realized this, that he created something amazing. In World War II, it's one of the main supplies for the GIs. Get this. The military purchased and shipped 150 million tons of Spam over. That's a whole lot of Spam. This is kind of amazing what happens when you Google. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher said that Spam was the wartime delicacy. I don't know if I've ever attached the word delicacy to Spam. But you know what? It sustains you. It fed you. And some people are like, oh, that's just... But you know, you got to trust that God's going to provide your daily bread. That's the whole thing, is your daily bread. I'm in Old Testament tonight, 1 Kings, if you have your Bible with you. It's kind of an amazing short story. But Elijah was called to do something, and a whole big world of trust comes up here. Have you guys ever been asked to do something that in your highly intellectual mind just couldn't figure out how it's going to work, but you did it anyways because you trusted? I don't see this is going to work. I don't see how it's going to happen. I don't see how it's going to be. I just don't see. Like I said this morning, if we see everything at the end where God is, then He's not God. If we see the end result before we do it, it's not God. Elijah was an amazing prophet, but he was called to do something here in 1 Kings chapter 17 is where I'm at, starting at verse 7. So let's just take a quick walk here. Sometime later the brook dried up, and because there had been no rain in the land, then the word of the Lord came to him, Elijah. He said, go at once to Zarephath in the region of Sidon and stay there. This is God talking. I have directed a widow there to supply you with food. Let's kind of pause there for the first talk. God has said, I'm going to supply you with food from a widow lady. I've never been a widow lady. I imagine they're on a fixed income though. I imagine they cut corners to get some food. I imagine they scrimp is the word. They kind of take a little here and take a little there, and they make ends meet. I've never really pictured widow lady and mountain of money. I haven't. But God is telling Elijah, I need you to go to a widow lady. And she's going to supply you with food. So he went to Zarephath. And when he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, would you bring me a little water in a jar so I'll have a drink? As she was going to get it, he called and said, and bring me, please, a piece of bread. Another translation says, and he said, please bring me some food. She's a widow lady. She doesn't have much. Has anybody ever come to you and maybe asked a little bit of time that you don't have? You got a minute? Has anybody ever heard that phrase? Hey, man, you got a minute? And 30, 40 hour later, you kind of figured it out that it wasn't just a minute they needed. But you had it because somehow or another that hour went by and you got things done, and then you finished whatever you needed to do, and like, how did I do that? I didn't have that time. I made that time because I trusted in the Lord, and now I've got time to finish all that I need to do, and it's done because God is the one who holds time in his hand. We've got to learn that when it comes to trusting God, now I'm not saying go to the end of the roof and jump off. Hey, Lord, I trust you're going to teach me to fly. No. And there are those times that we become silly thinkers. Well, God, if you don't want me to eat this bowl of ice cream with extra chocolate and nuts, don't let me open up that lid ice cream. Well, come on, we're silly that way. He's not going to stop you, but when he calls you to do something, he's asking us to trust him. He's saying, Elijah, there's a widow lady, and she is poor. We're going to find out just how poor, because he says this. And surely as the Lord your God lives, she replied, I don't have any bread. Only a handful of flour in a jar and a little olive oil in a jug. I'm gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son that we may eat it. Anybody got the last two words? And die. Now either she was a bad cook or she knew they were poor, hungry poor. So let me ask you, ever been that hungry? You've been starving? Been on your last leg? Don't have enough strength to lift up? Now, learning about missions and going on a few mission trips, I've seen a little bit of poor, not near the poor and poverty that's out there. I see where they make mud cakes. They take just a sprinkling of flour, some dirt and water, and make a cake out of it and eat it. That's poor. People think you're poor if you eat Spam. Well, I must have been poor because I ate Spam. But it fed me. Anybody ever have mustard sandwiches? Beans and tortillas? Mac and cheese and hot dog? And yeah, those simple things like, oh, this ain't much of a meal, but it's a meal. And you trust that the Lord not only provided for that, but he's going to provide for the next meal. Now, I'd love to tell you that, hey, after this, we've got steak and lobster tonight coming out just because you guys weathered the storm and are here tonight. But we don't have steak and lobster tonight. But maybe you're going to go home and you're going to get maybe a little leftovers out of the fridge there and kind of make things together and have a good family meal. Or maybe you're just going to get, as my staple is, cheese and crackers and Diet Dr. Pepper. But it's food. It's food. And this whole story just kind of got me here because the Lord had asked Elijah to do something without even telling him why. Go to here, go to Zarephath. There's going to be a widow lady. He didn't say go to the restaurant. That would have made a little more sense, right? Go to that restaurant, they're going to have some excess food, and they'll be able to feed you. Go to the widow lady that's out there collecting sticks. She's not only poor, she's almost dead poor. Have you been in that place where you've doubted trusting God? You got the wrong person on this one, God. I know my limitations, and you're pushing me past them. Isn't that what God does, though? He takes us past our limitations. He takes us past our comfort zone. I don't know about you, but when Kim and I journey, I love to know the course. The course is, and Kim's more freewheeling. Let's go for the adventure. It's not an adventure to me. My blood pressure is about here. And I want to know what's coming, why it's coming, how long it's going to take me to get there, when I get there, what I'm going to do there. I'm not a big trusting guy, just freewheeling out there in the world. You know, just like tomorrow, Kim and I got some things to do tomorrow, and she's like, I got a list. I trust that she knows my limitations on the length of her list. You ever been there? Let's just run up here real quick. Have you heard that phrase? Let's just run over here real quick, and then we'll... Elijah was there. He was at this place where trust truly life or death. I need some water and I need some food, and you're going to send me to who? A widow lady? Are you kidding me, God? This is a joke. Well, understand this. God doesn't joke. He sends us to places and asks us to do things for a reason. Because when we trust God, we're also trusting in what He's placed in us. Faith and hope. But when we trust man, when we trust people, I just wrote down a few things about when we trust people. When you trust people to do the right thing, greed will inevitably get the best of them. Greed will inevitably get the best of them. I can't remember his name. He's a multi-billion-dollar swindler just on news again. Help me out. New York stock guy, old guy. And he swindled people out of billions and billions and billions of dollars. And now he's in jail. You know what he's done in jail? Anybody got his name? Bernie. Not Sanders, because he was... Bernie. God, I can picture him, black trench coat, short guy. And you know what he's done in prison? He has bought out every single packet of cocoa in the entire prison commissary, and he's selling it back to the prisoners for a profit. You think somebody might be a little upset at him? I'm going to just, his name, Bernie Madoff. Thank you. He trusted in himself. He trusted in himself. Giving people enough rope, they will hang themselves. Inevitably, they will turn into a greedy person. When you trust people to do the right thing, they cut corners. They cut corners off a contract. You hear about a building falling down, and you go back to the contractor. Well, instead of putting 6 bolts in, he only put 3, and he thought that would be good enough. When you trust in people to do the right thing, they do unsafe things and maybe end up getting themselves killed or somebody else. When you trust in people to do the right thing, they create healthcare systems and insurance and pharmaceutical industries that outrageously jack up the prices on things. And I'm reminded of the guy with the EpiPen. It was $100, and he bumped it up to over $600. An EpiPen that saves people's lives. That's just greed. When you trust people to do the right thing, they dump waste into rivers, water systems. But when you trust in the Lord with all your heart, see, many of us know that by heart. Know those words, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways follow Him, and He will make your path straight. Simple to say, very difficult to do. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not. God, I don't get this. God, I don't understand this. Elijah, why are you sending me to a widow lady? Why not to a family of 10 where they've got food? Why not to a restaurant? Why not to a cheese factory? Why not? Why are you sending me to a widow lady? And it's confirmed she ain't got anything. Elijah, in verse 13, said this. Don't be afraid. Go home and do as I said. But first make a small loaf of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me. And then make something for yourself. Now, could you only imagine what the widow lady's thinking? I'm starving to death and I got to make him bread? She's showing trust now. The double dichotomy of trust is unbelievable here, where Elijah's trusting in the Lord to talk to a widow lady, and now a widow lady's trusting in a stranger that she would use her last bit of flour and oil to make him bread when her and her son are starving. Have you ever been in that situation with, Lord, I'm scraping it. Look at them. They're not even going to church. Lord, I go to church every Sunday. Look what they've got and look what I don't. It doesn't matter what they've got. It matters what you do. It matters with what you do. And I'd love to tell you, and of course, I guess Walmart closed today. Was that, or was it yesterday? But they're closed in Brownfield. Anybody know that? They're closed. Brownfield's still open. We're still functioning. Now, have we got a little bit of a bump in the road? Yep. Sure. Now, for most people, it might be just an inconvenience to jump over to Levelland or Lubbock. But for some of our elderly base here who can't drive to Lubbock, maybe there's an opportunity to make a difference. Maybe there's a social media group that says, you know what? Does anybody need somebody to be a runner? I'm going to Levelland. I'm getting my groceries. Does anybody need anything? You're probably thinking, well, that'll open up a door of crazies. But you know what? Maybe God's calling us to do things that we don't understand why. I don't understand what's going to happen. But He does. He does. And so here's the journey that I'm just with you tonight. That it's, I guess it's kind of wrapped up here. But I think we're pretty skeptical of people. You would do that for me? Yeah, I'd do that. What's the hook? What's the catch? Not everybody's bad, okay? Not everybody has it out for themselves. The Bernie Madoffs out there cornering the cocoa market. But understand this. Yeah, are there bad people? The answer is yes. Yes, they're bad people. They do bad things. And there's a little quote I read. Bad things happen when people do bad things. That's not rocket science. Bad things happen when people do bad things. But when you trust in the Lord, and you say, I don't see how it's going to happen. You're right, you don't see. For this is what the Lord said, the God of Israel says, the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jar of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain to the land. What he's doing is saying, God's got you and he's got me. She went away and did as Elijah had told her. So there was food every day for Elijah and for the woman and her family. But forgetting all that, it says here, she went away and did what Elijah said. I just want to remind you tonight about your faithfulness. You're trusting in the Lord. I know we locked up our houses tonight when we left. Our cars are locked down. Anybody's got their car running out there with the keys in it? No. We have common sense. Our windows are shut and locked up because there's evil out there. But I understand this, that when God says do this, He's got a reason for you to do it. There's twofold: to trust, for you to trust in Him, and for that other person as well. That they see trust in you. And a lot of times this brings me back when Blythe had a splinter in her hand the other day. She said, "Hey Dad, can you come get this splinter out?" I'm like, "Sure." And I go over there and "You got a needle?" She gets out a push pin. That's not a needle. I'm like, "It's going to be bad for you." And so I took that hand, stuck it underneath my arm, and she's like, "Ah!" I'm like, just trust me. Out comes the splinter. Now it was painful, and it hurt. And I tell you that story because sometimes, folks, we're going to have to go through some painful things. But the relief comes when we get that out, and we're like, okay, whew, I'm glad I went through that, because if you leave a splinter in, what is going to happen? That word is just disgusting, isn't it? Festers. And that means that evil just starts building up in there. And sooner or later, you're going to have to do something serious about it to get it out. And if we don't start trusting in the Lord for everything, not just, "Oh God, would you please cure so-and-so of cancer? Would you please heal their marriage? And would you please bring their teenager from the grips of hell back?" I mean, for everything. For that wallet that you have with that money in there, or that checkbook. "Lord, would you just take this and use it as your will be done?" A lot of times you get personal when you start talking about money. "Oh, see, that's between me and the Lord." The Bible's very clear what it says about money and giving and tithing. It's just part of who we are. It's how we function. It's how we trust. So even tonight as we take this journey here, and I just wanted to tell you that story, because a stranger hasn't come up to me and asked me for bread lately. But if I was down to 2 pieces and a stranger said, "Hey man, could you make me a sandwich?" I'd be like, I mean, honestly, who wouldn't pause? I'm hungry. Why would I feed you and not me? Why would I feed you and not me? Closing story, many of you have already heard it about the guy wandering in the desert. He was dying of thirst and literally on his last leg. And he comes over the dune and there's this shack. And he stumbles into the shack, and inside is a pump jack inside the shack. And a jar and a note inside the jar. And then there's another jar with just a little bit of water in it. So you've got a jar with a note, a jar with water, and the guy says, "I'm dying of thirst." And he pulls the note out and he says, "Use the jar with water to prime the pump so water can come out." I mean, I've never been dying of thirst. But there's a jar of water there, and the man could just down it and survive a little while longer, or he can trust that the person who wrote that note did exactly what the note says, and they're no longer here because they trusted. And so the man took that jar, poured it, primed the pump, pumped it 3 times, and a fountain of water came out, filling him to overflowing with water because he trusted. He trusted. I wonder tonight, maybe many didn't show up because of all that wind and all that rain and that. And we can make a gigantic tsunami out of a simple West Texas rainstorm. Now, it rained today, didn't it? Sure it did. We didn't wash away. We're here. And maybe later on down the road this week, maybe the wind's going to pick up a little bit. But we're still going to get out and function, and we're still going to be productive. If we allow the wind and the rain to stop us, we'll allow anything to stop us. The simple question is tonight, who are you trusting in? Only trust in, only trust in. Only trust in Him. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now. Would you stand with me, please? Father, we come to you tonight, a great group of warriors that comes back on Sunday night. Oh, they had every opportunity to stay home and lounge and relax and just kind of let the world consume them. But thank you, Father, for those who came back who had a little bit more room in their cup. And I pray it's full now. I pray it's full to overflowing. And they trusted that you would do just that tonight, Father, that you would overflow into them. And maybe there's that soul here tonight that's hungry. And God just saying, if you'll just go where I send you, the blessings will be there. God, we're really good about back talking and sassing. We're kind of poor about serving. So tonight as we sing, Father, let's just raise the roof in praise to you. Protect us as we go home into the dark, cold, wet night. And God, let's take a risk tomorrow again. Let's trust in you with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding, that you've got an amazing adventure for us and a great plan ahead of us if we just trust and obey. We ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Every soul, my sin oppressed, there's mercy with the Lord. He will surely give you rest by trusting in His word. Only trust Him, only trust Him, only trust Him now. He will save you, He will save you, He will save you now.
That's a simple challenge. You leave you tonight. Only trust Him. Only trust Him now. Thanks for coming out. Then you could have stayed home nice and comfy, but you came out and you trusted that. I pray your cup is overflowing. The church office is going to be closed tomorrow, and your bulletin has the deacons there. If something comes up, please use those numbers there and give them a call. Lots happening. Please check our website. Give the church a call on Tuesday. A whole lot's going on really, really quick. We desperate need VBS workers, VBS coordinators, records people, and we trust that without a doubt God's going to bring those people. Chuck Nave is in Dallas getting ready to do his pre-op blood work and heart checkup for his surgery on the 25th. It's a life-changing surgery for Chuck. He could be out of work for up to 6 months, and so we need to be there for him and his family. So lift him up. I know Melissa Neiman's having foot surgery coming up. Lots going on, but I trust you folks will be active, making a difference in their lives. That's all I got. John?
Yeah, if you want to grab a hand, we're going to sing "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus." We're just going to sing the chorus. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him.